Let me tell you something that might hurt. Nobody's going to believe in you until you've already done it. No applause, no awards, no good jobs, just your dream and the long road ahead. Why are you spending so much time trying to convince everyone else to believe in you when you haven't even proven it to yourself yet? Think about that for a moment. Here is the reality. The belief comes after the work, not before. It's a simple truth that most people refuse to accept. The brutal truth is, a few steps forward, voice becoming more intense. I need to share something that most motivation speakers won't tell you. In an idealistic world, everyone would support your dreams from day one. But that's not reality. Most people have never even seen someone build something great. So why would they believe in you? Today we're going to learn why that's actually the best thing that could happen to you. Yes, you heard me right. Minus the best thing. The work belief cycle moves to center stage with purpose. Here is how it really works. First comes the work. Long, lonely hours of work. Then maybe comes a little belief. Then more work. Then more belief. It's a cycle that never ends, but it always starts with the work. Let me tell you about David, a client of mine. For 3 years he built his business in his garage. His family thought he was crazy. His friends stopped calling, but he kept working. Today, he employs 50 people and his company is valued at 8 figures. Think of a bamboo tree. For 4 years it grows underground and visible. Nobody sees anything. Nobody believes. Then in year 5 it shoots up 90 feet. Nature itself understands this principle. Start your underground growth journal, minding your daily actions, knowing they're building an invisible foundation. Every entry is another root growing stronger. The modern principle walks slowly across stage. Want people to believe in you. Build something great. That's it. That's a secret. No shortcuts, no hacks, no magic formulas. Consider Sarah's story. She started her YouTube channel speaking to 0 subscribers. For 18 months she posted 3 videos a week. No views, no comments, no recognition. Today 2 million subscribers and counting. The momentum principle in action. Like a snowball rolling downhill, you start alone. But as you gain momentum, as you show results, people start jumping on board. It's physics, it's nature, it's life. Use your momentum map. Plot your small wins, watching them compound into undeniable success. Every victory, no matter how small, adds to your momentum. The uncommon breed voice becomes more passionate. Here is the truth about being different. Most people love to complain, but few will do something about their situation. You are an uncommon breed. You are the one who acts while others talk. Let me tell you about Marcus. While his colleagues complained about their jobs, he spent 2 hours every morning learning to code. 1 year later, he doubled his salary. 2 years later, he started his own tech company. Consider a salmon swimming upstream. It doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't need cheerleaders. It just swims. That's you. That's your path. When your uncommon actions log. Each day, record one thing you did that others wouldn't. Make being different your badge of honor. Those some responsibility, steps closer to the audience, voice becoming more intimate. Your car gets repossessed. The lights get cut off. Nobody shows up to your meeting. What then? That's when you look at your dream again and say, it's not over until I win, because that's what uncommon breeds do. The path is a voice rising with conviction. You are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to seeking validation, waiting for others to believe in you. The other leads to building something so great they can't ignore you. Remember, work precedes belief, actions create momentum, results speak louder than words. By now. The self-belief declaration voice reaching its peak. Stand up. Right now, feel the weight of everyone's doubt. Now make this declaration. I don't need your approval. I don't need your belief. I have my vision and I'll prove it with my work. Voice becoming more intimate again. Call your work first story. Connect with other builders who understand that belief follows action, not the other way around. Find your tribe of doers. Remember, stop trying to convince everyone. Start building something undeniable. Together we build, together we prove, together we turn doubters into believers. Steps back, voice firm and final. Your proof begins now. Make your work speak for you. The choice is yours. The time is now. What will you build while they doubt? Voice becoming more intense. Let me give you another truth that most won't tell you. The size of your struggle determines the strength of your success. You see, in this room right now, there are 2 types of people. Those who will act on what they hear today, and those who will just nod and go back to their comfort zone. Think about this for a moment. Every great achievement in history was first met with doubt, disbelief, and dismissal. Steps forward with purpose. Take Thomas Edison. Do you know how many times he failed before creating the light bulb? 1,000 times. When a reporter asked him how it felt to fail 1,000 times, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. That's the mindset of a builder. That's the mindset you need. The silent growth mad's most to center stage here is something most people don't understand about success. It's like an iceberg. What people see is just the tip. The success, the recognition, the results. But beneath the surface, years of silent work, countless failures, endless adjustments. Let me tell you about Lisa. She wrote 4 complete novels that never saw the light of day. 4 novels, each one took a year. Friends asked when she'd give up, family suggested real jobs. But she kept writing her 5th novel. New York Times bestsellers. This is what I call the silent growth myths. It's where champions are made while critics are sleeping. Stad your silent victory log, dotting every small win that nobody sees but you. These are your fuel for the journey ahead. The existence test voice becoming more passionate want to know if your dream is big enough. Look at the resistance it creates. Small dreams don't face opposition. Big dreams, they terrify people. Consider Walt Disney. He was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Imagine that the man who would create Mickey Mouse and Debbie made it, lacking imagination. When you face resistance, celebrate. It means you are pushing boundaries. It means you are doing something worth noticing. The energy equation works thoughtfully. Across stage here is a fundamental truth. Your energy must be greater than your obstacles, period, end of story. Think about Olympic athletes. They don't train until they're good enough. They train until they can't get it wrong. Even when tired, even when sick, even when doubted. Create your energy inventory. List everything that gives you energy and everything that drains it. Then ruthlessly eliminate the drains. The Kendo question voice becoming more reflective. Ask yourself this: when your story is told, what will they say? Will they talk about how you waited for permission? Or how you built your dream while others slept? Steps closer to audience. Your legacy isn't what you say you'll do, it's what you actually build. It's the trail you leave behind. It's the people you inspire, not with your words, but with your work. The Frina push voice, rising with determination. Let me tell you what happens next. You'll leave this room full of fire, full of determination. But then, reality will hit. Monday will come. Doubts will creep in. That's when this message matters most. Remember, every master was once a disaster. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story starts with a simple decision to begin. Voice, reaching crescendo. The world doesn't need more dreamers. It needs more builders. More doers. More people willing to work in silence until their results do the talking. Your Declaration of Independence, passionate intensity. Stand up again. Feel the weight of your potential. Now declare, I am not waiting for permission. I am not waiting for recognition. I am building my legacy, starting now, starting here. Voice becoming intimate. One final time your journey of proof begins now, not tomorrow, not when you are ready, not when they believe. Now remember, the world's greatest achievements began with a single step taken by someone everyone doubted. Together we persist. Together we build. Together we prove them wrong. Steps back, voice firm and resolute. The time for talking is over. The time for building is now. What will you build today? Make your work so good they can't ignore you. Make your results so clear they can't deny you. Make your legacy so strong they can't forget you. The choice, as always, is yours. Set. Wisely set now. How do I wise to build? Most people tiptoe safely through life right into an early grave. They spend their days building elaborate cases for their limitations, using one powerful dream killer, the word but. I want to start a business, but. I want to go back to school, but. I want to change my life. Are you arguing for your limitations? Because I promise you, if you argue for them, you get to keep them. The sleepwalkers curse move center stage, voice becoming more intense. Let me tell you something about dreams. They don't die natural deaths. We kill them slowly with 1,000 buts. Sleepwalking through life in a self-imposed trance of limitations. Look around this room. Every single person here has a dream. They've talked themselves out of a possibility they've buried under an avalanche of buts. Today, we're going to wake up. Today we stop building cases against our dreams and start building paths toward them. The But Busters Code steps forward with conviction. Here is a truth about limitations. But is not just a word. It's an argument for mediocrity. And when you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Let me tell you about Michael. He came to me 5 years ago. I want to run a marathon, but I am too old. He was 65. Last month, he completed his 3rd marathon. The but was just a story he told himself. Think of a bird in a cage. The door is open, but it's built such a convincing case for why it can't fly that it stays put. How many of you are that bird right now? Start your but Buster journal. Every time you catch yourself saying, but write down what's on the other side of that but, then write a how instead. The action of Rita walks thoughtfully across stage want to know the difference between dreamers and achievers. Dreamers say one day, achievers say day one. It's that simple and that profound. Let me share something about Sarah. Single mother, 3 kids, working 2 jobs. I want to get my degree, but that was 6 years ago. Today, she's a practicing attorney. Why? Because she replaced, but with conch. Consider someone saying they can't read. Have they even sat in one class? Have they tried? Or are they just pretending their limitation is permanent? That is your day one declaration. Pick one dream you've been postponing. Write down your first actual step minus, not your first excuse. The tree of truth voice becoming more passionate. You must judge a tree by the fruit it bears, not the fruit it talks about. Your actions tell your true story, not your words. Think about James. For 10 years he said he wanted to write a book. For 10 years he had excuses. Then his daughter asked him, "Daddy, why didn't you ever finish anything?" That question changed everything. His book comes out next month. Like someone who says they want to lose weight but never changes their diet. Their actions speak their truth. What truth are your actions speaking right now? Weighing your action audit, night-eyeing what you actually do versus what you say you want to do. The gap between those two, that's where your excuses live. The George Washington Carver principle steps closer to audience. Do what you can where you are with what you have, but never ever be satisfied with staying there. Let me tell you about Carver himself. Born into slavery, he could have said. But to every dream he had instead, he became one of history's greatest inventors. Because he refused to let his starting point define his destination. Your current situation is a starting point, not a final destination. Say that with me. Starting point, not final destination. The path's voice rising with determination. You're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to safe mediocrity, the gentle tiptoe to the grave. The other leads to bold pursuit of your dreams. Remember, but is a dream killer. Action speaks louder than words. Your life depends on your pursuit. Find and headed, the pursuer's declaration voice reaching its peak. Stand up. Right now. Feel the weight of all your buts. Now make this declaration. I am done with excuses. I am done with, but I am done with someday. My pursuit begins now. Voice becoming more intimate. Your first step. Connect with other pursuers who understand that life is too precious for safe tiptoeing. Find your tribe of action takers. Remember, most people go quietly to their graves with their dreams still inside them. Don't be most people. Together we pursue. Together we achieve. Together we prove that action beats excuses every time. Steps back, voice firm and final. Your pursuit begins now. Make your dreams chase you. The time for but is over. The time for how is now. What will you pursue today? Let your actions speak louder than your excuses. Let your pursuit outweigh your fears. Let your legacy be one of bold action, not careful tiptoeing. The choice is yours. The time is now. See Henner is pursuit over excuses. Let me tell you about the most dangerous word after but. It's someday. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll change. Some days I'll live my dreams. You know what someday really means? It means never. It's the comfortable lie we tell ourselves to avoid uncomfortable action. Let me ask you something. If not now, then when? If not you, then who? The comfort trap moves deliberately across stage. Here is what nobody tells you about comfort zones. They're not really comfortable. They're familiar, and familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar possibility. Let me tell you about Robert, CEO of a Fortune 500 company now. The 15 years ago, stuck in a dead-end job telling himself someday, know what changed? His 5-year-old daughter got sick. Medical bills piled up suddenly. Someday wasn't good enough anymore. Think about a muscle. It only grows when pushed beyond comfort. Your dreams work the same way. As your comfort crucial log, each day do one thing that scares you. One thing that makes someday today. The brake shack voice becoming more intense. Want to know why most people stay stuck? They're more committed to their excuses than their dreams. Consider Maria, single mother, living in her car with 2 kids. I can't start a business, but today she owns 3 successful restaurants. The difference? She became more loyal to her dreams than her excuses. Start your excuse elimination sheet. Write down every excuse you've used this week. Now cross each one out and write, I choose to instead of, I can't because. The committal question steps closer to audience. Here is a question that changes everything. What story will it tell about you when you are gone? Will it be about the dreams you pursued or the excuses you collected? Think about Steve Jobs, adopted child, college dropout, fired from his own company. He had every but available. Instead, he changed the world. Your excuses or your dreams. One of these will define your legacy. Which will you choose? The permission paradox voice becoming more reflective? What are you waiting for? What permission slip needs to be signed before you'll pursue your dreams? Let me share something powerful. The only permission you need is your own. The only perfect time is now. The only worthy excuse is none. To your permission declaration. Read yourself the permission slip you've been waiting for from others. The wake-up call moves center stage with urgency. Here is what happens next. You'll leave here fired up, ready to conquer the world. Then life will happen. The own excuses will whisper. That's when you need this message most. Remember, comfort zones are prisons with familiar walls. Every excuse is a choice. Your dreams don't need your excuses, they need your action. The paradigm shifted voice, rising with passion. I want you to understand something. Every great achievement in history started with someone getting sick of their own excuses. Thomas Edison didn't say, but 2,000 failed attempts. Walt Disney didn't say, someday, after being fired for lack of creativity. Oprah didn't let her circumstances write her story. Intensity building your new identity. Stand up one final time. Feel all the weight of every excuse you've ever made. Now declare, I'm no longer a collector of excuses, I'm a creator of possibilities. I'm no longer waiting for someday, I'm claiming today. Voice becoming intimate yet powerful. This is your moment, your turning point, your line in the sand between who you were and who you are becoming. Remember, life will never stop giving you excuses. Your job is to never stop giving it effort. Together we rise, together we act, together we turn, but into, watch me. Steps back, voice resonating with final purpose. The time for excuses is over. The era of action begins now. Make your dreams so loud they drown out your excuses. Make your actions so bold they silence your fears. Make your pursuit so relentless it inspires others to drop their butts and begin their own journey. The choice, as always, belongs to you. Action over excuses, epics, now over someday. Choose the pursuit of possibility over the comfort of limitations. Your legacy begins now. What will it be?
Opening hook, it's midnight. The gym is empty. Through the window, people drive by wondering, what's that guy doing up so late? But here's what they don't see. This isn't just a workout. This isn't sacrifice. This is an investment in tomorrow's victory.
Have you ever noticed how differently the air smells when you're actually doing what you said you would do? Let me ask you something. Are you sacrificing for success, or are you investing in it? The languages of success, I need to share something that completely changed my perspective. The way you speak to yourself determines how you act. And most of us are using language that makes everything harder than it needs to be. Today, we're going to transform your inner dialogue from sacrifice to investment and watch how that changes everything. Main Conde 1. The investment perspective here is a powerful truth. When you miss a night out to work on your dreams, you are not sacrificing anything. You're making a deposit in your future success. Story illustration. Think of a farmer planting seeds. To the untrained eye, he's sacrificing perfectly good grain by burying it in the ground. But he knows every seed is an investment in a future harvest. Action habit number 1. Stud your investment tracker each time you choose long-term growth over instant gratification right. Today, I invested in my future by 2. The compound fee cut, the magic of investment isn't in the big moments. It's in those small, quiet decisions that nobody sees. Those midnight load. Those extra hours of study.
Those moments when everyone else is sleeping. Story illustration, like compound interest in finance, it's not about one big deposit. It's about consistent, small investments that grow exponentially over time. Action challenge, #2. Create your compound calendar. Mark every day you make even a small investment in your future. Watch the momentum build. 3.
The confidence currency here is something powerful about following through on your commitments to yourself. You don't need artificial stimulants, you don't need external validation, just the pure natural high of keeping your word to yourself. Story illustration. It's like building a skyscraper. Each small action is another brick, each followed through commitment is another floor.
Before you know it, you're standing on top of something magnificent. Action challenge #3. Begin the promise practice. Each night, make one small promise to yourself for tomorrow. Keep it. Feel your self-trust grow. 4. The delayed gratification advantage, the real power, isn't in giving things up. It's in understanding what you're gaining instead. Every investment has a return.
Every delayed pleasure has a bigger payoff. The path that you are standing at a crossroads, one path offers immediate pleasure, the comfortable choice that everyone understands. The other path promises future rewards, the investment choice that few will make. Remember, it's not sacrifice, it's investment. It's not denial, it's delayed gratification. It's not loss, it's leveraged Feniabi. The investor's declaration: stand up, right now. Feel the weight of every choice you've labeled as sacrifice. Now make this declaration: I am not giving up anything. I am investing in everything. Every choice is a deposit. Every action builds interest. Share your investment strategy in the comments below. Let's build a community of future cut-the investors who understand that today's choices are tomorrow's returns. Remember, the size of your success will be determined by the size of your investments in yourself. Together we invest, together we grow, together we prove that delayed gratification beats instant satisfaction every time. Your portfolio of success begins now. Make every moment count.